Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? Sorry I've been MIA. It is not intentional. It's just we're winding down to the last 2 weeks of my classes, so I was a little behind on this project. I just got off a video trying to do a mock interview, so it's been intense. So plus I needed to de-stress. I don't know about y'all, but it's like I woke up and I feel like I'm in the Twilight Zone. The way stuff is going on in America, it's like, what the triple fuck? What in the triple fuck is going on? It's like mayhem, chaos, division, Twilight Zone, Matrix, all in this one horror flick that we call America. And it don't even have to be this way. It really doesn't. But you know what I'm saying? The powers that be, again, they win with their bullshit. And this is what I be trying to tell y'all, is that we cannot get sucked into this matrix. And I'm not saying people shouldn't vote and stuff like that. As far as for me, I gave up on the hoax of it. I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm seriously over this whole bullshit that we call democracy. Call it what you want. Republic, democracy, whatever you want to call it. It's a dictatorship. And now I'm starting to see everything they talked about years ago was the truth. They talked about Agenda 21. Now it's Agenda 2025. Then we have what's coming, Agenda 2030. I don't know if people have been reading about Agenda 2030, but that one is definitely coming. That one's global. They're going to be talking about trapping everybody into their situation. You're not going to own nothing. You're not going to have no access to food unless they say so. That's where we're heading. Trump just wanted to rush the situation. He wanted to rush the process. And like I've been saying on all my videos, if you go back to my video from the beginning of this year when I was on a truck, I talked about 2025 and how it's going to impact the people. I talked about that. I said it's mighty funny how we're quick to give up humanity for a cause that ain't even beneficial to us. We're quick to throw our brother under the bus. We're quick to throw our neighbor under the bus. We're quick to throw our own kids under the bus. Like, what are we talking about? It says it in the Bible. In the last days, brother will turn against brother. Mother will turn against daughter. Sister will turn against sister. It's a prophecy is coming to the head. Why aren't we waking up and seeing this? You got the Ku Klux Klan out here going mayhem. And these are people that have lost their conscience. They are now insane. Some of these people are agents that work for the government, that they go and they promote false flags all around to cause mayhem and chaos. It's the Manchurian Candidate all over again. Y'all need to go watch that movie with Denzel Washington. Social programming. They pay people to take people out. And then they blame it on the migrants. Oh, it's the migrant crisis. This is what they're doing. And until we wake up and see, like, we got to take the veil off. Don't get caught up in your emotions. And I know the emotions is what keeping you aware. But sometimes we go too far into the rabbit hole and then we get caught in the matrix. If you think with fear, you will not be able to come up with an answer. You will not be able to strategize. You will not be able to get out of the matrix. I've been seeing this for years. I've been telling my family this for years. I've been telling my children. I said something is big is coming. And there's nothing. You guys think it's your money that's going to get you out of this mess? No. This is bigger than money. There's going to come a time there's not going to be any money. They're incorporating bricks, currency, cryptocurrency, chips. They're not going to need cash. They're backed up by gold and silver. So when they're ready to get rid of the US dollar, all they got to do is throw that shit in the trash. And you guys will have no resources, no gold, no silver, nothing backing you up to save your life. And I'm not saying go out here and go buy some gold, because you ain't going to be able to get any. And unless you got a lot of money, and I ain't talking about 50K, I ain't talking about 100K, I ain't even talking about 200K. Unless you got money like the 1%ers, that is the only way you're going to get your hand on some real assets. That's why you see freaking Elon Musk, monkey ass, jumping around like a crazy person, because he know he about to stomp these people out. Every chance he get, he's he like a damn demon. He knows what's about to happen. And the fact that they're happy about this tells you what spirit they're operating off of. These people are worshiping Satan himself. I told y'all I had a dream 3 weeks ago that it was going to be a powerful white man and that he was worshiping Satan. Did I not tell y'all that? And I told you that the black man was going to be bruised. And it was a little white girl that got left behind. Those are going to be the innocent people that they think they're innocent. Those are the neutral people that don't want to pick a side. It's all coming to the fold. It's all unfolding before our very eyes. I'm not saying that there's things that wasn't needed to be done in America. Oh, yes. There's a lot of corruption in America. But now, the average people don't have a say no more. All those days are over. I was hoping to get out of this country before shit hit the fan, but it looks like they on full speed ahead with this shit. And you worrying about the LGBTQ community? You think that's the problem? Y'all really think that's the focus is on people that are gay? Like, let's talk about it at this point. At this point, we can't. All stuff got to be on the table. Some of these Trump supporters went out there because of the gays. I get it. You want to be on Trump support, whatever. But what they don't seem to realize is that the gays have been always in, like, it's been from the beginning of time, people have been gay. It's been scientifically proven that people are gay. They can't help how they're born. Statistics show that when a boy child is born gay, a lot of times is because the mother had boy children before him. So he tends to be like maybe the youngest out of the boys. And the reason why they think that is because after a while, the mom is not producing enough testosterone in her womb. So when she gives birth, the child has a lower level of testosterone and a higher level of estrogen. You got to remember, when we're all created, all of us are unisex when we first come into this womb. And it takes about 5 to 6 months before an actual sex organ is being visible on a CAT scan, right? So I know you have some men. I used to hear it a lot on the podcast with these black guys. They would say things like, oh, it's because of the single mom. No, it's not. A lot of my gay friends when I was younger, okay, working out of Old Navy, and one of my closest friend was gay. He was from Jamaica. He had 2 parents that were married and they were together and they were very disciplined, going to church and everything. And he was still gay. He had 2 older brothers. He never was abused, never was sexually molested, none of that. None of that. Yes, there are statistics. It's different reasons. It's statistics on different reasons. Some guys go to prison and they get touched on and they end up turning that way because of the situation and the stigma. And some of them get SA'd when they were young. But some are born that way. We have to accept that about people. You want somebody to accept you for being black in America, for being Hispanic in America, for being poor and white. Okay? So why are y'all discriminating against someone that has a different orientation? Because it's new on the scene, and now it's like, okay, it's the big taboo in the room, right? Now it's the big elephant in the room. Oh, well, we can't say that word. That's what's making it. Satan doesn't like things in the dark. I mean, in the light. So when you bring things to the light, you get rid of the demonicness in it, right? So now, and I know you Christian thumpers are going to be like, mwah, 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 what are you talking about? Miss me with all the judgment. Because on the day of judgment, people that are going to say they're Christians are the main ones burning in hell. And I'm not saying all Christians. I'm just saying the ones that are self-righteous, on this self-righteous high horse, go look in your closet and tell me what you come up with. Tell me the people that you've hurt. Tell me the tears that you've brought to people's eyes behind your bullshit. Because remember, every tear that a person cries for your pain, there is a punishment in heaven for your ass. So we got to be careful what we do to people. People are what's going to get you into heaven or hell. So if we bring these things out into the light, it's easier for us to accept it as part of what the culture is. The culture is about diversity, is about acceptance, is about love, right? So now if you tell a person they're not human or they're a demon or they're not worthy, they're going to go in the closet and hide their shit. That's why you have a lot of men cheating on their wives with gay relationships. You have people hiding in the closet. You have people unaliving themselves behind this, not being able to be who they want to be. You feel what I'm saying? That's what's making it demonic. That's why now when they finally get the rights, you're going to see, because not all gay people are the same. You got to remember, you got evil gays and you got gays that actually love God. Okay? So the ones that love God, the ones that are evil are making it bad for the ones that actually love God. Because you got to remember, even if a gay person is in a relationship, if they're a good person, they don't want to be cheated on. But you'll have a person that knows that it's the right thing to do. If you're going to be with somebody and say you love them, it's the right thing to do the right thing, right? But then they'll play these games and be like, oh, so everybody knows I could put you on blast. So yeah, I'm going to cheat on you. I'm going to do bad things to you because I got some receipts that you don't want nobody to know in your family that you're gay. So now they put you in an imprisonment. So now the relationships that you are under, you feel kind of like obligated to just go along with the shits. And now it looks messy when this person is doing bad and you're trying to do right. I get it. Trust me, I get it. It's just that there's not enough people like me that will put it out there, clarify it, and make people understand why it's wrong to judge gay people. It's wrong because y'all looking at it from a perspective as, well, the act itself makes them a demon, so therefore the person is a demon. Then you have people that says, well, if you're born that way, then that means you got demon possessed when you were a kid. Like all these weird ideologies, as if they never looked at it from a scientific aspect. I asked this question years ago. When we go through adolescence, it's even in psychology. We all get tested with our it's called sexual orientation. So when you're a kid, you had this game called Play House. We all played it. We were all curious like when we were little. We always wonder what girls look like, what boys look like underneath their clothes. It is normal. It is normal. But what happens is our parents, not knowing that they're doing that, they pervert it. Like when I see my son do something years ago and I yelled at him, I made that boy cry so much because he was watching something that he wasn't supposed to. But the way I embarrassed him is because I was ignorant. I didn't know any better. I didn't sit down and talk with him and make him understand why he has those feelings. I made him feel like a pervert. This was years ago. He was about 12, I think. And I said to myself, oh gosh, I'm going to have the talk with him. I thought I had time. No, he was probably maybe about 10. He was about 10. And I thought I had time to talk to him. I was like, you know, you're just going about your everyday life and you're not realizing your kids have internal needs. You just look at the outside needs. You see them going to school and you're like, okay, is anybody bullying you? And he's like, no, ma, yes, ma, whatever. And that's all you really focus on, but you don't focus on his internal or her internal needs. So now when you find them doing something that you as the parent consider inappropriate, what do? You go on an all-out rant and you either beat them, punish them, yell at them, chastise them for normal feelings that a teenager or a preteen has. And sometimes it pushes them away from the average stuff and they may go into what's the taboo, the forbidden fruit, right? So now you're like, okay, maybe it was something I did that pushed him or her to become homosexual. You never know. You really can't sit there and try to figure it out. If that's what their brain registers, you just got to love them, whoever they decide to love. You as the parent have to be there for them. But now we start calling them names. We start calling them names and stuff like that. And what happens is you make them pray for people like a P. Diddy. Because they're like, well, if my mama don't love me, my daddy don't love me, he calls me a freak, a weirdo. Well, maybe this grown man right here, that's all I'm worth. It's for him to freak me out and pimp me and all that. This is what you guys do to your other children, to people of the world, when you degrade them like this. Now, when you're talking about Trump, talking about the medical facilities, going into the schools, you know, he's talking about like they're targeting children to sex change and all this stuff. I agree that that's going too far. And I'm going to tell you why. A child is going to be confused. That's what we do. We're children. We're confused between the ages of like 5, because children start thinking about, it's called the sexual libido. It's called the libido. In psychology, the libido starts from 2. And I'm not saying it like, okay. It's called a fixation. So when we're babies, we have an oral fixation. We suck on our thumb, we bite our nails, we might even suck on our toes. Everything got to go in the mouth. It's like, you know, you give a baby something. You give the baby this, right? It's a little object to play with. What he going to do with before he play with the toy, he has to orally fixate on it. That is the libido. So our body goes through stages. If it gets stuck, some type of trauma happens between those ages, they get stuck in that phase. Like for me, I used to be a very heavy thumb sucker because of my anxiety. I never knew why I sucked my thumb. I just know it calmed and soothed me. So when something really crazy happened, I'll be just like this. I used to suck my thumb even in my 30s. When my ex-husband met me, he was like, "You suck your thumb?" Then I started only sucking it to go to sleep. And now I don't suck it at all. I don't have the urge. It went away. So what I'm saying is these fixations, we don't realize how deep the psychology of the mind goes. So you can't traumatize children when children have to go through these processes in order to understand what's going on with themselves. When you traumatize them, they get stuck in those stages and they don't understand why they're going through crises after crisis. And this is internal crises. But the internal crises become external based off of where they're placed in their environment, and it becomes their behavior pattern. So we have to be careful. I'm trying to get the right lighting. We have to be careful instilling these type of degenerate behaviors and degenerate feelings within our youths, because they carry it out in their behavior patterns. Make sense? So before we go judging gay people, you got to understand the philosophy of shit. Now, the doctors, they capitalize off of these type of crisis that these children are put under because they're experiencing these feelings, right? Whether it be gay or just confusion. They could be having identity confusion, or they know they are attracted to the same sex. However, even if I was straight and I am 9 or 8 years old, I'm not having sex with you. I'm not going to be having sex at 8. I may just have those feelings, but I'm not going to have it. You see what I'm saying? And then I might get older and say, oh, I remember when I was 8, I used to be attracted to my teacher. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to go and be sleeping with your teacher at 8. So you have to take into consideration what makes sense for a child. So now you, as a doctor who went to school for 10 years, you should not be cutting no child's sexual organs. Astaghfirullah. Now you're taking it into a demonic situation, because you have taken a child who's innocent and you're saying, oh, well, this child knows for sure they don't want that body part. That's where I would say, okay, I would say, yes, that is going too far. And yes, there should be some type of boundaries placed in America on how far we take this this situation with the LGBT community, right? But what I feel is happening is they'll take one bad area and try to destroy the whole thing. So now they're just saying, oh, well, you can't have no rights and you can't be allowed to call yourself a woman if you feel like a woman. If this person feels like a woman, at this point, we just have to accept it, because now we're going to be more confused when they're told to act like their sex when they don't feel like it. So now when they're changing their name to Samantha, let's say it's a man and he changes his name to like Samantha, but then the new law is you can't call yourself a woman. You can't call yourself a she. So when they're talking to other people and they're acting like a woman, it's still going to be confusing to the other person as to, are you a man or a woman? So now you're forcing this person to say, well, I'm a man. But the problem with saying, well, I'm a man, society has still not caught up to accepting that this person is a man. They still want to now ostracize them because they don't act like a man. So it's still the philosophy and the psychology of the stigma is still there, whether you try to forcefully straighten it out. That's the power, the willpower of a human being. You can't force that on them. That's why God doesn't force people to follow the true religion, or the true, I don't want to say the word religion, the true God. God doesn't force a person to do it. It's, you have to willingly come to God. The demons don't even force themselves. They'll tempt you to make you be influenced to come to them, but they're not going to force you. So because they understand that willpower is the one that says yes or no. So what I'm trying to say about forcing a person to hide now, you're now forcing them after all these years of fighting for their rights. Now you're forcing them to go backwards and hide. And it's going to be more unalivings, more suicide, because what happens is now they got to hide it even more from the fear of it's like now you've made it more of a stigma by putting it into law that they can't call themselves what they feel they are, right? So now what's going to happen is, with that fear and them hiding it, when they're in a situation where they're asked, okay, for example, you go to a club and this guy, he's a woman, but he meets a man that likes him and he says, well, I'm a man. Now this man that likes him wants to beat him up. And he's like, well, I told you straight up, but why you still want to beat me up? Oh, because you made me feel like I could like you. Now I don't like you. But you're being prejudiced. Now, if these, let's say it was a transgender, you take the person home and then you tell them after it's like kind of like a con game going on. So that's when they get upset and they want to fight you. But now you're forcing people to hide it even more. They probably won't even say it just to the average Joe Schmo. Hey, I'm gay, or hey, I'm transgender, because now it's even furthermore stigmatized. So this is what I'm saying. We're putting ourselves backwards when we've been able to become more accepting as a society. And I'm not saying accept demons, accept wickedness. We still have to understand that we're in the matrix. We're going under social programming. But from the beginning of time, there has always been people that were gay. In the Bible, they call them, I forgot what it's called. I think it's it starts with an E, where they kind of made it sound like these people in the Bible didn't have a preference, meaning they were slaves to the Egyptians, I believe, and they didn't really have sex at all. But overall, we've always known in the Bible that people were homosexuals because the Bible talks about it. Now, in the last days of Sodom and Gomorrah, the reason why God had to destroy that planet was because of the immorality that's involved, meaning these gay people were trying to now go after the straight people to convert them like by force. And you have those that's why I said not all gay people are the same. You have evil people in general, whether they're straight or gay, and then you have good people, whether they're straight or gay. You have good people going to church, and I'm pretty sure there's Muslims that are gay. They probably just ain't say it to your ass, but I'm pretty sure. But it's just, we make such a big deal about who people are sleeping with. At the end of the day, as long as you're not beating that person's brains in and you taking care of them and you good to them, I don't see the problem. I don't have an issue with it. I don't. There's been gay people that have looked out for me, that have been good to me. There's been friends I've had in the past that were transgender, regular gay, and I've never been treated bad by them. Now, I had one gay guy, he was a whole queen, and when I was on this job, he was a little trying to start some shit with me. And I treated it just the same. You want to be evil, mother effer? I will treat you to how the F you want to be treated. And I got his ass fired because he kept every day he was harassing me. And I chalked it up to him being jealous of me because he was there longer than me at this particular company. It was Verizon. And I was bringing in all the sales because I was learning the best way to be a sales marketing agent. The best one, learn the product, learn all the plans, read. People don't want to read. They think they can just be charismatic and laugh on the phone. Girl, no. If you ain't make a sale, you're not a good sales agent. So when I came on the scene, I learned Verizon's products from the inside out. I was reading every night, reading. So when a customer asked me a question, I had the answers. I was able to get people their grandfather plans, give them extra services that would cut their budget. I knew what the fuck I was doing. And I got promoted. So they had this big meeting, right? And they called all the people, the top sales agents in the room. And then they had like a ceremony. So he felt some type of way that he wasn't in the meeting. So when I came out, it was 4 of us. We were the top 4 sellers. And I wasn't bragging. I was always humble, but I knew my shit. And he wanted to talk shit about me to this girl. And she was a hater too. Hold on. So I'm like, it's always got to be a goddamn hater in the bunch. So you're going to have that with straight people. You're going to have it with gay people. It is what it is. You just got to know how to handle this shit accordingly, right? So with me knowing, okay, in middle school, I mostly had it in high school. You always have those girls that hate the pretty girls. I was the quiet pretty girl. Didn't start shit with nobody, but it was the popular girl that didn't like me because the popular boys liked me too. So you're like, oh, you want all the boys for yourself. I see what this is about. So now that he's giving me attention, you got a whole issue with it. And that's what it is. Sometimes people just don't have enough confidence that they can just be on their own without competing with another person's situation. But it has nothing to do with gay people. That's just people in general. So they'll put all these titles on gay people to make it look like y'all the problem. So now the gay people feel like, well, damn, We in the box too with the black people. The black people can't do nothing right, according to some of these, I guess, higher ups in America, right? And it's all over the globe. But it's really disgusting in America. America takes the cake when it comes to racism and prejudice and discrimination. America takes the cake. Y'all are leading the bunch. So now they feel like, okay, well, damn, we can't get it right either. You see what I'm saying? And then it comes to the women's inequality. Some men, I have to say some, because some of y'all men, y'all get it. And y'all be riding hard for the sisters, and y'all be riding hard for women's rights. But it got some really, really backwards old school men that really think women are property. You have some Trump supporters with signs that say women, animals, tools, cars are property. They put women in there like we're not human. They have dehumanized a group of people. They've dehumanized the migrants. Now I know it's a crisis. It is a crisis, but we don't have to dehumanize a crisis. We can sit down like grown-ups and strategize, okay, how can we get these people either back home or figure out a way to help them, but we should not dehumanize a human being. Like right now, I think it's Switzerland. Is it Switzerland? I was watching a documentary yesterday on Switzerland, I believe it is. Don't quote me. They're having a migrant crisis. I don't know if it was a year or two ago or something like that. But they were paying people $35,000 to leave. They don't care where you go, just leave. But they gave the people an option. They said you can take the $35,000 or you can stay, but it's gonna be a little rough because we ain't got a lot of budget to help you guys like that. But at least they gave the people a choice. So they started interviewing people. One lady was a Muslim, another lady was from Africa, another lady was a cop. And she said, I came here when I was a teenager, but I'm a grown woman now and I feel like this is my country. I'm a police officer. I help people. So to just be cattled off like I'm property now after you done used me up for all my resources of human, like my human resources. I gave you guys 30-something years of my life of work. You took taxes. You know what taxes are able to pay for? It's able to pay for your Social Security check. It's able to pay for your Medicare. It's able to pay for buildings that are being built, for the courts. Do you know that your taxes pay for the police, the same police that are killing your children? Like even the migrants, the ones that get these little jobs, their money comes out. Like, okay, so if you could pay a migrant half the salary that you would pay a non-migrant, a citizen or a resident, right? If you're paying them half what you would pay a citizen, you have just helped the economy. You've robbed this immigrant or this migrant, but you've now built your economy because now you don't have to pay them as much. So that's still using them. So don't make it sound like all the migrants come here and they ain't worth a damn. The reason why they're bringing them in by the boatloads is because the American people are useless now to them. Some of y'all are old. Some of y'all using up the Social Security too early. They don't want y'all to retire early. They don't want y'all retiring at no 62 and no 65. They want y'all retiring at 80. Some of y'all want to take out insurance, life insurance, and use up the cash policy for it. Some of y'all want to take out disabilities. Some of y'all want to be on SSD. Some of y'all get military benefits for all the broken bones you've had. They tired of giving them out. I'm not saying we're not worthy. I'm not saying we're not worth getting these checks and these compensations, but the money got to come from somewhere. So before you go judging all the migrants and saying they're a piece of crap, look at how it was set up from the beginning. Now they're setting up all these Project 2025, Project 2020, 2030. I told y'all that Matrix movie predicted this was going to happen. The guy that made, not the guy that made the movie, but the one that helped produce the actual movie. I know it was a black woman that had the idea of the Matrix, but it was a white dude. I don't know if it was the guy. I don't know if it was the main character, but somebody they interviewed at the end of the movie, and they said the calculations of when will the Matrix be implemented, like the full force, and he said 2030. 2030. And they now have this project coming out. It's called Agenda 2030, where they're going to be targeting all the United Nations, all the countries, to figure out how they can fix agriculture, crime, housing, everything. Full force government interventions. They were talking about doing biodiversity, I think it's called, where they go into wilderness of every country, of every city, and they start putting zonings on where stuff will be grown, meaning you're going to be zoned and you're not going to be able to grow certain things in certain areas if it's in one of those areas that they consider for them to do biodiversity. It's going to be off limits to the average person. So they're not even allowing you to explore and go buy your own land somewhere, because they're going to have all this stuff globally on lockdown. And they did the same thing in Mars. I read about this years ago when Obamacare first started. They started talking about, it was called the electronic health records. Some of y'all probably don't remember. It was called the electronic health records, and then it went into the trucking community, called the electronic the ELDs, electronic logs device. Yeah, where they track everything you do. They track your hours. They track when you start that truck up. They start how much time you took to do your pre-trip, your post-trip, how many miles you drove, what time you took your break. So, you know, they started that when we started working for HR corporations. You punch the time clock. They see what time you went to lunch. But with truck driving, they could see where you went, what time you got there, things like that. So when Obamacare came about, that was right around the time they were starting the electronic health records. So I had just started school back then. Meaning, well, what's the matter? My cat has a cold. Hey. Girl, I'm making a video. What do you want? This is my cat right here. Say hello. She's so spoiled. She has a little cold. I think it's because she's very furry, so the hair gets caught in her throat. And then sometimes I have the air conditioner on. So yeah, I kind of contributed to her catching a cold. But anyways, when Obama, when he started the ELD program, I had just started college again. I went to college when I was younger for paralegal, but then I went back to school in my older age. You hear her sneezing? I went back to school to get my bachelor's because I had my undergrad in paralegal back in the day. So in 2012 is when I went back to get my bachelor's degree, and they were talking about the ELD program, and I felt this. It was like a sunken feeling in my stomach. And I was like, why am I feeling so weird? And that's when I realized they were trying to implement the mark of the beast. And I started telling people about it back then. They were looking at me like I was crazy. The reason why I felt it was bad was because the way my teacher at the time, the professor, explained it, it was about these electronic records would be all over the world. So there's like, you could leave here and go to Spain or go to Portugal, wherever you want to go. I know that's in Spain, but they were saying you can go there and they can pull up your records. They can see every condition you've had. And I said, so there was like, you know how they call it pre-existing conditions. It was like, oh, this is a way that we can stop people from lying. It's a way that we can, I forgot how they explained it, but they made it sound like it was for our benefit. Oh, like, for example, let's say you go to a hospital in another country and you're like half dying or something and you don't know like everything to tell the doctor. He can pull it up right on here and say, oh, this person has epilepsy or da-da-da-da-da. So they'll find a way to say they're doing it to help you, but it's really to destroy you. So they'll find something that's made out of truth and mix it with 1,000 lies so that you can say, well, they telling the truth based off of this. So that's how they trap you. So ever since that EO, electronic health record, I've always known and I've always been mentally prepared for what's to come. So I'm telling you guys this now, that this is just the first stage, but they've implemented it now. And Elon Musk, Trump, and all his other goons, they're excited to get this thing happening. They just want to be the world leader in the global domination. They don't want to be the second, third, and fourth in command. So they're looking at all the other countries like, okay, I know we all in this together, but I want to be the leader of it. That's why Trump is coming so forceful, and he don't care how y'all feel about it. He don't care about your rights. He don't care about none of that. They're going to get this thing started, and they're going to do it quick. They got to get all the stuff out the way. I don't think, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the Democrats are going to ever have a say-so again after this Trump situation. Because now the Republicans got this thing on lock. And unless the whole world come out in the next 4 years and re-vote him out, that is the only way. But even if they vote Donald Trump out, if the majority of I didn't mean to say the whole world, I meant to say the whole of America. If majority of Americans stand strong on the next go-round, it may help, but then again, it may not. Because now majority of the Senate is Republican. So people were laughing at me when I was talking about, y'all may just have to leave America. And they're like, oh, I'm not going to run. What you talking about? This is my country too. If you still believe this is your country, it's like this conversation is not for you. It's not for you. This country is a corporation. It's not a country anymore. It's like, what part of the non-reality are you not seeing about this? You can't even grow your own food in your country, but you're going to say this is your country. Everything is imported GMO, but you're going to say this is your country. Everything has chemicals in it, but you're going to say this is your country. You can't even get natural sun anymore, but you're going to say this is your country. You're not even allowed to put solar panels in the big cities, but you're going to say this is your country. They tax you to death, but you're going to say this is your country. You have no control over your own hours of schedule for work, but you're going to say this is your own country. They could raise taxes, raise housing prices at any given time. You wake up tomorrow, your housing prices are skyrocketed, your taxes for your house is skyrocketed, you don't own the land, but you're going to say this is your country. Please make this make sense to me, please. Like, until we start asking the real questions and actually accepting the answers, you're going to continue to be in the matrix. The reset, the global reset is here. Last week I was talking about it in a spiritual standpoint, but now I'm talking about it on an economic standpoint. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have economy. I'm not saying that we shouldn't utilize our resources. But when the resources are contaminated, at this point, you're wasting your time. You got countries like Ghana that's willing to take all races. They're not even racist about it. They're willing to help you buy land. I'm not just saying just Ghana. There's countries in Spain, there's certain countries in the European continent. I don't know much about them, like, Finland and Norway, like the ones that they don't talk about on the everyday news because they're a safe country, right? But y'all want to sit up here and fight with white supremacists for this piece of shit country that hasn't helped you since you've been born here. Where the Native Americans at? They put them on a plantation and forgot about them. Yes, you can come. What happened? Oh. Leah, have you done the statistics on the Native Americans as far as like the suicide rates and stuff like that? Because I know you're a little nerd.
I haven't done like that part, but I know they were starting a movement because
Ooh, the cat's sneezing.
The women were going missing.
Really?
They probably still are, and like the police weren't doing anything because they're like, oh, that's not our jurisdiction. And it had like letters, some MWWIW,
Hmm?
missing
Oh,
indigenous women. So
missing indigenous women. See, you hear that?
like that.
So they going through their own apartheid. It's a lot going on in this world that they don't talk about on an everyday basis in this country. Now, I'm not saying that we have to bash everything about this country. I'm not saying that at all, because there's still things that you're able to utilize. You know what I'm saying? Like going to school, going to work. Some of these things in some countries, people don't even have that luxury, right? But then a lot of times the reason why they don't have that luxury, we go back to what? The bigger countries bullying the smaller countries, not allowing them to have their own resources without, like, look at what Trump is doing now. I'm going to ban any country that doesn't follow my tariff laws. Or I'm going to ban any cars that are not made here in America. And it's like, Trump, come on. You barely had any skilled workers due to y'all not allowing us to go to college without getting into a huge amount of debt. So people don't want to go to college. You got some countries that pay for the college for the people. But here, they're making you take out what? Student loans, getting into debt, all these things that we like, we're being subjected to, where they force your hand that you have to do this in order to get this. So, Trump, can we be realistic? When you're making these policies, can we be fucking realistic? And this is why I tell y'all, I know how narcissist people are. I've dealt with them all my life. When I say I've dealt with them, I've been raised by them. I've had relationships with them. I know them very, very well. And when they think that there's an idea that they feel is what they want, they don't care what you got to say about it. They will turn into straight psychopath to get their point across. That's the danger of a narcissist. The fine line between narcissists is ideologue. They have all these ideas of what life is supposed to be and how love is supposed to be, how they're supposed to be treated. They live in here because it's a mental illness, right? So they live in their head constantly. So when they get an idea in their head and they feel like it's going to get them supply and it's worthy of recognition and it has like some type of power backing it, there's nothing you're going to be able to say that's going to get them to change their mind if that's what they want. Now, the average person, the one that doesn't have a mental illness or the one that doesn't have a personality disorder to that point, when you talk to them and you say, listen, this idea is not good. It's going to destroy the country, or it's going to destroy our relationship, or it's going to destroy your children, they will kind of think about it. Even if, I don't care if they're egotistical or not, the average person, when they see that things are falling apart and their ideas are not really the best, they're going to think about it. Not a narcissist. Did y'all ever watch that movie, that TV show? This is for my old heads. I don't know what show to compare it to for new people. But the best way to describe a narcissist is Jackie Gleason in The Honeymooners. You remember that show, that comedy show back in the day? The reason why I picked him is because anytime Jackie Gleason got an idea in his head, the whole thing about Jackie Gleason is that his ideologies superseded his humanity. He wanted to be a good husband. He wanted to have the perfect life, the nuclear family, right? However, his pride about being a middle-class white man in America wouldn't let him understand what it means to come together and listen to other people. Because in his head, he was robbed as a white man. He should have been more than just a bus driver. So he always came home. The reason why I'm giving it a breakdown is because some millennials and younger people don't know the show. And for older people that watch the show, you may not have seen the subliminal message of narcissism behind that show. But I was a little girl watching that show and seeing the same mentality of him as a white man in my black father. My black father was an immigrant that came to this country. Same ideology. But I'm talking about Jackie Gleason, who was the main person in this show. And then there was a neighbor upstairs. I think his name was Norton. He was a little goofy, little kooky. He would almost seem similar to, you would say a little slow, but he was very, very eclectic in his ideas. A lot of his ideas actually would have helped Jackie Gleason had Jackie Gleason listened to him. Now, Jackie Gleason's name in the show, I don't remember. This is his real name, Jackie Gleason. He used to get so irate. I mean, he would scream. And his wife was one of those quiet, codependent. I want to say she was the victim of an abused narcissist over time that becomes an empty shell of herself. She was the straight depiction of what happens when you stay too long with a narcissist and you depend on them. Y'all got to go download that show. It's a very good description of the old school ideology of men in America. It will give you a clear depiction of where we're getting ready to head to. So he would come home so upset, whether they raised his taxes, whether they lowered his pay, whether they didn't give him the promotion he was supposed to get. It was always a problem. Every day he came home. Every day he came home, he was screaming at his beautiful wife, and she was pretty. This dude was fat, overweight, big ass stomach, like he was 8 months pregnant, and thought he was the cat's meow. And I'm not making fun of fat people. I'm just saying he wasn't no catch in the looks department. He was probably on a scale from a 1 to 10. He was probably a 4. He had a cute face. That was the only thing I would say was halfway decent about him. Everything else was questionable, right? Now his wife, on a scale from 1 to 10, I shouldn't weigh people. That's not good. His wife was beautiful. She had a beautiful spirit. She was kind. She was soft-spoken. She was pretty, everything. To me, everything a decent man would want. But she picked him because that's what they were offering. Now, I can't say that because Norton, he was the upstairs neighbor. And every time they came down, him and his wife, perfect couple. They was equal partners. He never tried to act like he was better than her because he was a man. She was always happy. She was always trying to. I remember the wife's name was Alice, the one that was married to the narcissist. She would always try to come and get Alice to come out the house and join groups. And Alice was always like, nah, I'm good. Because you could tell Alice was depressed. She lost herself of who she was supposed to be as a woman for this narcissistic man. It's like a prison. You trap yourself in a prison around narcissistic people. So he's telling her, because she would tell him, he would come home with an idea and she would say to him, honey, I know why you're saying that. I understand how you feel. Your boss is not respecting you. I get it. And, he promised you this promotion. I get it. But I'm just giving you the advice. I don't think you should go to work and do XYZ because you might get fired. And he will start screaming and ranting. You don't tell me what to do. I'm the man in this house. You hear me? But they made it into like a comical version of it. I don't remember how they were able to like finesse that, but they made it where it was funny. And we as kids were laughing at this narcissistic man abusing mentally his wife. And then he would go to work, not listen to what she say, and what she tells him that's going to happen, it comes true. And next thing you know, he's fired. And he has to come home and face her as a fired man, as a fired husband with no income coming in. And they would always show him feeling that level of shame. but he would never admit that he was sorry. He would come home and he would walk up and down with this sad look on his face. That's called narcissistic shame. It only lasts a little while. They run and hide, or they just look sad, and it makes you feel bad. And that's why you continue letting them do the shit that they do. And then as soon as he get that supply from her again, because she will go into a dark, deep depression, she'll stay away from him for a couple of days. She won't speak to him. But then she forgives him again. And he goes right back to hurting her. And this is the vicious cycle of a narcissist. And this is how this country is going to be ran. It's going to be vicious cycles of narcissism. When you don't give him the supply, he's going to punish you. That's why I don't like this situation. Because the innocent, regular citizens of America should not be punished because his ass don't know how to run anything. He don't even know how to run his own shit. His wife don't even like him. She don't even want to touch him. You can read people's body language. I've always been hypersensitive to people's body language ever since I was a kid. It's probably because I was severely beaten on a daily basis. So it made me hyper vigilant to pay attention to stuff. So when I be telling y'all stuff, it's because I pay attention to stuff. I watch people, I watch and I observe, and I look at patterns of behavior. And it will give you the answer every time. So, I don't know, since that whole election situation, it just seemed like it's been a big ass Twilight Zone. You woke up and it's just craziness on all ends. It's just been crazy after crazy after crazy after crazy. And I told y'all, I said, even though the Democrats are bad, they're going to cushion the economy for a while because they're not implementing this matrix as soon. The reason why they're not implementing the matrix that soon is because it's too turbulent. Because like they say, as it is in heaven, so shall it be below. So all of everything has to be in sync. It's all about timing with these people. So I'm saying the Democrats are not good either. But the Democrats buy you time to get your shit together. So that when it's either time to go off the grid or move to another country, you have time. Because they're going to keep the economy going at a certain speed. Because if you rush this stuff, because I could see it in Elon Musk's eyes, he's ready to implement this automation situation. But he don't know it all. This is what I don't like about certain white men. They just so pretentious and obnoxious that they think they know so much when they don't. It's still a lot you got to learn. When it comes to like going into Mars and science, everything is by the milli-split second, and it could destroy a whole world if your calculations are not properly precise. This is why you don't play with God, because God understands that. That's why he made everything in a divine order. But these men, some of these men think they're God. Like, oh, I'm the smartest. So you see Elon Musk running around here trying to act like he know everything because he's one of the smartest out of the stupid idiots. So he think, oh, well, I'm super smart. Okay, we give you that, Elon. You're a little smart. You're a little bit of a genius because you've had time to tap into that genius side of your mind, but you don't know everything. You could do one mistake and do some real fucking crazy ass shit. Like in that show with the Obama sent, he produced a show called Leave America Behind or some shit like that. No, Leave Us. Damn, what's the name of that show? They Leave Us Behind or something with leaving behind. It was created by Obama about 2 years ago on Netflix. Y'all need to go watch that movie. All the Teslas. Why do you think he put Teslas out of all the electronic cars? He put Tesla because there's an affiliation with Elon Musk in that subliminal message. All the Teslas was driving on the highway and it just shut off. Everybody was stranded. And the global reset was blowing up cities. Do y'all want to be stuck in that type of shit? I want to talk about, oh, America is mine. I was here first. Who gives a fuck? I'm sorry to say it like that, but come on. Put your street eyes on at this point. Can you control a nuclear bomb? Did you create the nuclear bomb? Can you dismantle the nuclear bomb? When it starts putting out this poisonous gas and rays that can kill you, or on impact kill you, or give you cancer, you still gonna call this your country and, oh, I gotta be patriotic? Come on. Like, sometimes humans really irritate me because of the stuff that they think and say that's just so dense. They're so afraid. And they speak with such fear. They're scared to leave this all behind. And what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah when Lot was scared to leave everything behind, if necessary? You got to start putting it in your mind now. If necessary, I need to leave this all behind and focus on my loved ones. But y'all so attached to money, so attached to material things. When God searched the heart of man, and I'm not just talking about man as in gender, when God starts to search the heart of man, one of the things he said in the time of Noah is, find me one good man in that town and I will save that town. And Moses came back and said, Noah came back and said, I could not find not one good person in that town. And God said, I'm going to destroy it tomorrow. Pack your family into that ark, and I will take every last one of them out. But y'all want to stay here and get in the way. Because when God starts to search your heart, he's looking to see the purity in it. And I don't mean pure as in you never committed a sin. I'm talking about the purity in the mission. You understand the mission. The mission is to save souls. Are you willing to save your soul and the soul of others? If you got to think about it because you worrying about your bank account, you are not good enough to go to the next realm. This is what God is looking for. You got too many men out here, men and women. You got too many men out here that in the pits of their heart, when it's time to test what they're really about, it's wickedness. They will throw their own brother under the bus for $1 or promotion. This is what we're dealing with. This is why God is not blessing the people. Because he's searching the heart of man. And when I say the heart of man, it's just a reference. It's not saying only men, okay? He's searching the heart of the people, the humans, to see who is ready to carry out this mission. And too many of us are falling short. If you look in today's society, in this realm, in this era, the millennials, the Gen Zs, we don't have no straight, strong leadership that's willing to say, we don't need this economy. We don't need this money. We are here for the people. Them days is long gone. They died with my generation. They gone. They either passed on to the next realm, got a disease, went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Or they just gave up and said, to hell with y'all. Y'all don't want to listen. I'm not finna lose my life over y'all ignorant people. That's what they did. The only one probably still standing on his last leg is Farrakhan. That preacher that I was talking about the other day named Stephen Darby, I think. He mysteriously died. God was like, look, we taking you out of here because these people right here, they're not listening to you, sir. And I'm not going to waste your breath and energy. So I don't know if that's how he was taken out. So it may have been a bad way, but it was God's divine ways, because God is the ultimate Omega and Alpha. So he's going to say when it's the beginning and the end, right? So if it's your time to go, it's going to be your time to go. So we don't really have that many leaders of today. The guy, what's his name? Marcus Garvey. He talked about Pan-Africanism, meaning coming together with other black people across the nation, across the globe. And what did we do? Oh, we're too good to be talking to them Africans. And the Africans, what did y'all do? Oh, we too good to be associating with those Americans. If I'm going to go to America, I'm only going to talk to the European Americans. And look what happened. They dragged y'all asses too. They dragged y'all too. And this is not just the average white person I'm talking about. I'm talking about when you came to this country thinking you was going to get all these loans and all these big businesses, and they told y'all black asses, y'all ain't shit either. Remember those days? Remember when you went to China and the COVID and they said they didn't want no black people over there? Okay. But y'all don't want to stick together. It's all about money with y'all. I'm talking about all of y'all. All the ones that say they tired of this shit, but then when it's time to do something for a good cause, you don't want to be bothered. You ain't got time for your people. You ain't got time for humanity. Them Republican people, they are for the mission. They will do anything for the mission. And if that means taking out your asses, they're willing to do it. And that's why I was saying Trump is dangerous. Because he understands they are there for the mission at any means necessary. So what y'all gonna do? Y'all gonna keep talking shit about the black woman? Y'all gonna keep popping shit about the black man? Y'all gonna keep popping shit about the immigrants? We all in this together. What y'all going to do? It has now come to fruition. It can't be no more neutral parties. It can't be all just neutral. Y'all have to start looking out for one another. No more turning a blind eye to injustice. The part of the reason why you don't want that you turn a blind eye to injustice is because you profit off of it. You profit off the backs of other people one way or the other. Survival of the fittest. But that's a wrong mentality because now it takes out humanity. If we keep going at this rate, humans will become extinct. I'm going over my time a little bit and I have to go do some homework. So anyways, let's just stay vigilant. I'm going to continue bringing content about this whole situation with Trump, Kamala, Elon Musk, and all the others, the powers that be, right? Elon Musk was making a big deal about the immigrants, talking about, oh, they're the ones doing the crime. Now they find out he's an immigrant. Why is it okay when they do the shit, but then if the little people do it, it's a problem? Trump want to send everybody to jail, all gay people to jail, all educational departments, get rid of it. But then his ass done committed all these felonies, but they're going to drop his charges. I'm at a loss for words at this point. You got people crying all over the internet because this America is just upside down in the trash, right? But I can't get emotionally attached to this country. And it's not because I was born in Trinidad, because I grew up here. This is all I know. America is all I know. I know about my culture, but the American culture is what I was brought up on. So it ain't even about my loyalty to any other country. It's about what the fuck is going on here. Whose country is it? This is an abomination. They showed this quick clip of a white guy. He goes into what's that burger place where they wear the red outfits? It's a burger place. Five Guys? I think it's called Five Guys. He goes into a Five Guys and he makes a racial slur to a Mexican dude. He's cooking the food. But what makes it even more crazy is that when he's leaving, they got into an argument, and he's still talking about how he's white power and all this stuff, right? But he gets to the door and says, well, that's why we colonized this country and it's ours. So you're bragging about being a colonizer? Like, where do they do that at? This is what we're dealing with. Demonic spirits, that these people really feel that it's okay to dehumanize other people based off their immigration status, sexual orientation, or just their race. This is what we're dealing with. And until y'all wake up and realize there is unity and strength in numbers. I'm not saying go out and start a revolution, but we definitely need to start an evolution. If you treat people like humans, the people that are dehumanizing them will be less in numbers. Because it's contagious to love. It's contagious to love other people. It becomes contagious. Because as you can see, when the Africans first came here a couple years back, it was a lot of segregation between the African Americans and their Africans. And some people say, don't call me African American, but y'all get the gist. You're here and you're black. Don't call me black, okay? Negroid. It's not too many names that they gave us that we can use. So when we were here for a while and the Africans came over, there was a lot of tension. And then when they started seeing how bad it was here, what happened? They started sticking together with us. There was strength and love. Now they're all over the internet getting massive love because of their culture. We embrace their culture, their music, their food. My daughter did her DNA test and she found out that she's, I think 35% Ghanaian and like 20-something% Nigerian or something like that. So we bash them, the people that come over here, and find out we have the blood too. Some of us, not all, because some of y'all got Native American, some of y'all got Spaniard, some of y'all got, Indian, like we all mix. But a lot of us might have straight, pure African genealogy. So we hating on ourselves when you think about it. And at the end of the day, all of that really shouldn't even matter. It's about being human. But as people, we like to see more of us. Just like when white people say we like to see our own kind, there's nothing wrong with that. But why do you have to put down somebody else's kind just for your kind to exist? That doesn't make it right. I got a little bump on my lip. So all of these things that we have to come at the table and have that discussion. 2 weeks ago, a troll came on my comments when I was talking about the sundown towns. And in the comment, he says, I am a white man and I live next door to, I think he said, a black dude. I left the comment on one of my videos if you want to go read it. And he says, you guys, you black people basically, y'all are delusional because there's no such thing as racism anymore. It's the boogeyman. I just posted a comment for a massive text that went out early this morning to middle schools saying, we're going to pick you up at 11 a.m. on Wednesday to go finish picking cotton. We will be coming in a red truck to such and such addresses. They had all the people's addresses on there. A cyber attack on people's addresses. It doxed people's addresses, names, and they knew what school the people were in. It was sent to people's homes. Where did they get this vital information from that they send this text? This stuff is incorporated. This whole system is based off of white supremacy. It's incorporated. That's why they're able to do this, because it's backed by government agencies. Military, all of them are backing some of this stuff up. Not the entire government. I'm not saying the entire government. The people, the powers that be, that want to see us get divided are backing up this situation. That's why it's called a system of supremacy. That's why they're pushing all these agendas. Because if they can keep the people divided, y'all will not work together to take this shit down. If it's only 1% of them, think about it. That means there's 99% of the rest, right? Common mathematics. If there's 99% of the people that are not part of this demonic situation, now I know there's going to be maybe 15 more percent that is okay with it, maybe another 20% that's neutral, but majority of y'all do not want this situation to happen. Why are y'all going against each other? This is what don't make sense. Wake up out of the matrix. The matrix is what making you think this stuff makes sense. Because the same people you're supporting is the one that's going to trap you into these buildings with no sunlight after a while. They're going to monitor you. They're going to put cameras in your rooms, in your houses, in your trucks, in your cars. It's going to be cameras everywhere. You're not going to be able to do anything without their permission. You're not going to be able to have any money without their permission. You guys talking about, oh, I just made all this stock and this and this and this. I'm about to buy a house. Okay, but it's still going to be monitored and controlled under the 1%ers. So all that I have money, it don't mean shit because it ain't gonna do nothing. You ain't gonna have no skin in this game. It's not. The only thing that's gonna have skin in this game is sticking together and coming together for a common cause, which is to escape the matrix. But they coming swift and fast. There's a lot of people that don't have an idea of what to do. A lot of people don't even know what an EMP is. And if you start making these type of videos, they're going to take it down off of YouTube. I used to be addicted to this show called Doomsday Prepper. I don't see him no more. I don't see the show no more. This was years ago. I was talking about this to my family. They thought I was crazy. And now my same mom that told me I was crazy for telling people to go to Africa to get the fuck out of America, her ass is in Africa, living her best life in Ghana. Like, what are we talking about? You always want to talk about the people that are ahead of the game, that see shit, that may be a little bit sounding off because you're not used to hearing it. But instead of just taking it all in and say, you know what, I ain't with it right now, but I'm going to take consideration of what she's talking about or what he's talking about and then pray on it and get revelations. No, they want to be like, no, I'm good. I don't need to hear what her crazy ass or his crazy ass is saying. There was a show called Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson, I think his name was. Is it Mel Gibson? The white guy? And he was saving all the newspapers from the 1950s up until the present day of where he was in. And he had them all across his house. And he had an escape room in his house. And he kept telling people, they're following me. So they thought he was schizophrenic. Come to find out, they was following him. There was agents that knew what he was talking about was going to discover that they knew about the mark of the beast. And guess what? They came to try to unalive him. I don't remember how the movie ended. All I know is they're listening and they're watching. Everything I say on YouTube right now is being monitored. And at some point, if it becomes a problem to the powers that be, you're going to start seeing my videos get taken down. Right now, it's probably still a little neutral. I'm going to have to start speaking in codes to y'all because they don't want this. They don't want this type of stuff to get out. That's why they push the buffoonery of the Megan Thee Stallions, the booty shaking, the degeneracy of the cursing people out and, you know, the cheating and the all that ratchetness. They'll promote that. They'll get millions of views. Because they don't want this type of words to get out. And the people that end up getting the views and getting the popularity, they start taking their videos down. Because there's a couple of people that I follow, females and males, right? Black and white. And they be talking about this type of stuff. And some of them will say on their videos, my video was targeted. It was striked. It was taken down. I don't know why. They didn't give me a good reason. That's just what it is. Some of them have to talk in code. This is where we're going. Now, y'all know I'm going to be talking about like the psychology stuff, but this stuff too is part of our psychology. You know how many people probably depressed this whole week from all the stress of the the buildup of watching the elections, whether they were Trump supporters or Kamala Harris supporters. They don't know what Trump, even though they're Trump supporters, they don't really know what Trump is going to do. They genuinely just probably want to see the country do better. Some of them. So they're over here like, is he gonna do what he say? Is he gonna do what he say? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a problem for everybody. Even the top higher ups, they're saying they're in the White House arguing about it too, because they don't know what this lunatic man is gonna do. He wake up one day, feel froggy, and say, you know what? The hell with everybody. Bring the military and kill them all. Even though that's unconstitutional, but he will do it. He will try. He is unstable. Worse than Hitler. Yeah, I said it. I know people that are Trump supporters don't agree, but this is just a feeling and a distinct feeling that I get. And from the dream that I had, it's not good. It's not good. So that's all I have to say for tonight. I got to go finish this homework. Love you guys much. We're going through some hard times. 2024 and the next 4 years is going to be rough. Start saving your coins, because we don't know if this recession is going to hit real bad. I was here when the Lehman Brothers and all that Wall Street housing crash. I don't remember what year it was, but the market was really bad. It was in the early 2000s, I think. It was so bad here. Everything. The crime went out of control. Yeah, it was really bad back then. The housing market crashed real bad. People lost homes. People lost businesses. It was kind of like the level of COVID. I don't remember who was in office then. Was it Bush? Was it one of the Bushes? I don't remember. But people stuck together. Some people really stuck together. That's when people started getting creative and started creating their own internal business. Doing hair from home. Opening little nail shops inside their apartment. Selling things on the street corner. They came together humanly to make stuff happen. That's the power of humanity. You don't let the government control you. And that's what we need to come back to. So Trump may push y'all back into humanity. Because where there's bad, there may be good. So sometimes out of this bad, something different comes about. Something better for the people. It'll get you to see how bad things can really get. You complained about what was in office before and how bad things was. And then when you see things could get worse, you're like, oh my gosh, I did not know. They were actually asking Trump supporters, do you know what the tariff will do? And a lot of them didn't. They said, oh, I thought that it's supposed to do this. And the guy is like, no, ma'am, do you know the tariffs is going to make your cost of living go up? Not the rich people, you middle class people. If you're rich, it works out. Your taxes don't get touched. It's the common people that gotta suffer. How you like them apples? Now you're going after the higher educational department. So now you want to get mad at the Harvards and the Stanford and all these upperly class colleges and take. How you go from 2% tax to 30% tax on the colleges? These people feed these kids. They give them dorms. They have these alpha sororities. They got it's a prestigious college. The reason why it's prestigious is because they provide these type of things for them. Yeah, they may have extra money, but they got to keep that pool of money for when things hit the fan. But he won't take away all of that from them. He said that he feels it's a scam. That the scam is, oh, let me clean our money by getting a college, and then we use the college as a cover-up for all the billions of dollars that we get. it's just like the lack of compassion. Even though you might say that about the people that's running the college, by doing that punishment, it's going to affect the main people it affects is the students, not the people that's up there. Their money is already safe. They've already gotten investments and the things that they needed to protect that money already. So punishing them at this stage in the game is only going to hurt the students. They're going to cut down on dorms. They're going to cut down on acceptance rates to save the money they already have. That's how this works. You're not punishing them. Now we're going to have more uneducated people running around in this country. We're already suffering from the nincompoops now. So now you want to target the students. You want to take out all the curriculums of anything representing black people or anything with diversity. And then you say you are for the people. Make this make sense. You want a white America. Just say it. Just fucking say it. You want a white America. That's why you got all your weirdos running around here talking about we're taking back America. Because that's what you guys started America on, was the backs of slaves and immigrants. I scared my cat. I be trying to stay calm to get this message out, but it irritates me that we pretend we don't see what's going on. It irritates me. But that is all I have to say. You guys have a great night and keep your street eyes on with this bullshit.